Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, March the 3rd, 2024. Monday, March the 3rd. Wow. Okay, already in March. Now, listen, let's see what happened in GH Land. It was just okay, but some out of character stuff to me that happened, and a character that I liked, I'm not necessarily gonna like her too much anymore. And you'll find out exactly who I'm talking about. But let me bring up my pictures here. That person, I'm gonna start at the bottom. Sasha Gilmore. Jason talked to her again earlier in the kitchen. And she went off on him again, yet again, when he offered to give her some money so she could get a place of her own so she wouldn't have to feel suffocated. Oh, I told you, I want to do this on my own. I'm going to raise this baby on my own. This baby is a miracle, and I don't want it pulled and used like a pawn of this Quartermain family. She storms out, and Jason's like, oh, hey. He goes, well, I'm still going to look after you, period. He says, Sasha, because she goes, I never got to be a mother to Liam. And, and Brando's gone. And Jason said, the difference is, Sasha, when you have this baby, the father is here, right? She don't want to hear it. So she tells him how Carly offered her a job. She doesn't know. She hasn't decided what she's going to do. So she's in the kitchen. Jason walked out. Sidwell comes through the back door because this is later when Jason's talking to her. And no, it may have been the same time. Jason left. Sidwell comes in. Ooh. He always acts to me like the court jester with his movements. Ooh, I thought he'd never leave. And she's like, what are you doing here? And she goes and gets the meat tenderizer. She has it in her hand. And he goes, no, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here to talk to you. I'm here to offer a proposition. She goes, oh no, you tried to kill me. And he went on and on and on. He says, let me tell you the proposition. She goes, what is it? And I thought, oh no, mistake number one. He said, what is it? He says, I just want you to clear up a misunderstanding with the ladies of deception. She goes, what misunderstanding? I want you to tell the whole truth about why I used you as leverage. So he don't want to say kidnap. I used you as leverage. She goes, you tried to kill me. He says, I was here to get my diamonds. Your mother stole my property, and I was only using you as leverage so I could get my property back. And Sasha said, you didn't know that you were going to get your property back. He goes, I had a pretty good feeling your mother cared more about you than the diamonds. And so Sasha says, well, that was pretty risky. Because she's like, I didn't know my own mother cared more about me than these diamonds. He says, so I just want you to tell the whole truth. Sasha should have told that son of a gun, you got your diamonds back because Jason brought them to you. And you still armed the bomb. Because that's what happened. Sidwell got the diamonds from Jason. He armed the bomb and he just told Jason the floor she was on, maybe even the room, but I think the numbers were, no, I think he said third floor. Jason went running. He goes, you got 2 minutes. So, no, Sidwell, it wasn't a case of a little misunderstanding. You planned on killing Sasha anyway. You were banking on Jason not being able to find her. And he did. Do you know? And this is why I said, I'm not liking Sasha anymore. I'm not. Whatever happens to her because she's going into this danger head on. He goes, and she goes, you want me to back your story? He goes, no, 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 I'm going to pay you for it. And she says, how much? He said, $250,000. And she looked like, ooh. He goes, see, your mother appreciated money. I'm guessing you do too. Talk about money with strings attached, Sasha. You definitely got all on Jason about no, because with that, with you giving me this, you're gonna expect that you can control this, that, and the other. What does she think Sidwell's gonna do? Expect that he can control her. That's exactly what he'd be doing. He would already have her go to her friends at Deception and twist the story. Yeah, part of it is true, but the other part of him actually arming the bomb and not doing nothing to disarm it, he don't want her to tell the whole truth because he said just tell the whole truth. Then tell the whole truth. But you're going to take money from this criminal, putting you and your baby in danger. And you're going to sit there and lecture Jason about trying to call the shots. I said, did that baby make her stupid? You know, I didn't know pregnancy hormones ate away at your brain cells, everybody. So Jason comes into the back door. He looks through the panes and he sees Sidwell up close to Sasha. And he opens that door. Get away from her. And Sidwell's like, so you know Sasha's going to end up going off on Jason, which is going to piss me off. I know how to handle myself. I know how to take care of myself. See, then it's time for chick. Don't you forget who saved you from that room with the bomb in it. Don't forget it, Sasha, because you seem to be forgetting a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot. So that's what happened with those two. I'm like too through with her character. And they're writing it that way. That's ridiculously stupid. Self-preservation of her baby would never allow her to get involved with the likes of Jen Sidwell. Never. So now we got Lucas and Brad in Miami, and Brad bought him a drink, and they're reminiscing and talking. And of course, the next thing we know, Lucas is saying the reason why he was so upset was he was worried that, just seeing Brad was making him think of the happy times and blah, blah. Ugh. Needless to say, he ends up kissing Brad. Now, the problem I have with Lucas even going back in that direction, they're oil and water, complete oil and water. Now they get back up to the hotel room. Brad takes off Lucas's shirt. They're making out on the bed. Wait, wait, stop, stop, Brad says. I can't do this. And Lucas is like, wait, what? I can't do this till I tell you the whole truth. How much do you want to bet, everybody? Brad ain't gonna tell the whole truth. He never, ever does. Never. So we'll see what half of the truth he tells Lucas. We'll see. It won't be the whole thing, right? How he blackmailed Selena Wu. I mean, not Selena Wu. He blackmailed Portia to get his job. I don't think he'll say that. We'll see. Because even if he does say that, he'll say, but you know what? I realized I was wrong. He's not going to say, I then sold the information to my Aunt Selena to cover Cody's debt. So he's going to only say half truth. And I already know that. Drew confronts Curtis at the Metrocourt dining room, saying, I know you blocked that seat with the senator, right? And he goes, don't think I don't know that your Aunt Stella knew him for blah blah. Really? Did she really? How'd did the congressman tell you that? Is that what happened? No. And he goes, are you gonna deny that you met with him? So Curtis stands up and he goes, yes, Drew, I met with him. And you told him not to let me on that seat? He goes, no. For one thing, I can't tell him what to do. I barely know him. The only thing I did was show him facts, period. And he made his own decision, Drew. I did not coerce him. Oh, you made it personal now, Curtis. And Curtis looked at him, or Portia said, Drew, it's been personal. I don't even recognize you. And he looks at Portia. And so Curtis says, Drew, this is all on you. This really is. If he made that decision, then he saw something that he didn't like about what you're doing with that project, whatever the Commandant project. That's all I'm saying. And he goes, we were friends, Curtis. And he goes, no, no. And Portia said, and you stabbed him in the back. I did not stab Curtis in the back. I did not lie to Curtis. He definitely lied to Curtis, right? Curtis says, Drew, I gave you many opportunities to come clean with me. And you didn't. You definitely lied. So you spin that how you want, but you definitely lied. So Drew says, this is not over, Curtis. Drew then goes to Mrs. Selena Wu's office, right? And he goes, I know we talked, and I know you have something on Curtis Ashford, and I'm willing to make it worth your while. And she goes, really? He goes, she goes, but I'm sorry to tell you, I don't have anything on Curtis Ashford. And he goes, there has to be something. She goes, not on Curtis Ashford, but his wife, Portia. That's another story. And Drew looks at her and he goes, okay, what do you got? So she goes, well, let's go over the ground rules. If I give you what I have, then you are going to owe me a favor at a later date. And he goes, well, depending if it's good enough. So she gives him the file. He looks at it and he goes, what am I looking at? She said, what you're looking at is proof that Portia Ashford tampered with a patient's test lab results. She falsified them for her own gain. Now, is that what you're looking for? And he goes, yeah. Ooh, and that's gonna be good. So she goes, now remember, you owe me. He goes, and I will deliver. And I thought, ooh, good. See, because what I liked about this is Drew is getting in. Selena don't play. And what favor she's gonna ask is gonna really make him dirty, right? Now, am I sorry for Portia? Do I feel bad for Portia? that now, see, Drew is probably going to go straight to Portia, not Curtis. And he's going to tell Portia, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to make public unless you get Curtis to give me my company back. Or he's just going to go to Curtis and say, I'm going to blow up your wife's career and she could possibly go to jail unless you give me Aurora back and you give me Michael shares. Or he can't give Michael shares because Curtis don't have control. But what Drew wants, them to do is orchestrate another thing like what they did when they took over in the first place. But what's interesting to me, remember, Drew as a congressman is not supposed to have any personal stake in a company. It was supposed to all be put in trust. So how could he seize control of Aurora back? Because he's already been installed. I guess we're supposed to forget that fact. I guess. Now, we have Alexis comes in. Tracy looks at her, says, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "I'm in here for Diane Miller." She goes, Diane Miller, you ain't. Diane Miller's supposed to be here. She said, "But you got me on the incident with the crypt." And so Tracy says something to Alexis, and Alexis says, "Tracy, I already know, I know you have all kinds of attorneys in Manhattan and New York, but you got me today." And I thought, you know what's unrealistic about that? Why aren't Tracy's dozens of top-notch attorneys handling this? I don't get that. No, no, right? If you're going to spout, I have all this legal power behind me, let's let them deliver because I haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen that yet. So anyway, Alexis says yes, she looked it over and she sees exactly what Martin sees. And Martin comes in and Tracy says, "Well, let this interloper in." And Alexis says, "I called him over so we can hopefully settle this issue." And so Alexis told Tracy, "Tracy, it's in your best interest to settle." She goes, "Why?" She goes, "No, it's not gonna his little surveyor, appraiser, it's not gonna hold up." And Alexis, she goes, "But this could be years of a legal battle, Tracy." And Tracy says, "I have more money than they do. I could bankrupt Port Charles if I wanted to." So she goes, "And I know that, Tracy. However, the years it could take, your loved ones would have already been, what did she say? Interred or, you know, they will be moved while it's being settled." And I thought, in what planet would that happen? Because if she gets an injunction and it's in the process of litigation and being settled, there's not a court in the land that's going to have them unearth and move human remains. They will stay right there in place until it's settled because it's only 20 feet that they are, encroaching on public property, right? So Tracy goes, "Oh goodness." And Lois is in there. And Lois is like, "Ooh, she want to see what's going on. Look, how is this gonna go?" So Tracy said, "Fine. I'll drop the injunction. He could keep the name." Drew says, "Great." So it's not Drew. Martin says, great. He's getting ready to leave. And so Alexis says, wait a minute, Martin. Uh, we need it in writing that you are going to drop this. And he goes, well, I need it in writing from her, that Viper. He didn't call her Viper, but whatever. He says that soon as I sign, she's going to turn right back around and get another judge to do the injunction. So she needs to sign too. And Tracy says, Alexis says, we can put it in the resolution that the remains stay where they are, and Drew can use the name. It can all be in the same paperwork. So Tracy ends up changing her mind. She goes, nah, you know what? Well, Gio and Dante come in because she called Dante. Gio and Dante were having lunch at Bobby's. See, they're already starting to show them together, where they never were before. Dante should be with Rocco, right? But whatever, Rocco's in school, I guess. So anyway, Dante comes home and Gio's with him, and they come into the middle of this. And then Gio chimes in again where Tracy's like, you got something to say? Oh no, he goes, 555. And Tracy goes, oh, you got to give me more than that. He goes, that's something my mother used to say. Will it matter 5 minutes from now? Will it matter? Either he said 5 months, 5 days, I can't remember, from now. Or will it matter 5 years from now? If you can't think of even what it was, then it really doesn't matter, right? So Tracy looked at him. She goes, my mother used to say something similar to that. Young man, you gave me a lot to think about. And that's when she told Marty, oh, the deal's off. Alexis says, wait, what? And Martin says, wait, why? He goes, because you know what? It does matter. And she goes, who did she tell to see? She told Alexis says, Martin, I'll see you out. And so, or Dante said, you know what, Martin? She has asked you to leave. And obviously nothing's going to get settled now. So I will escort you out. And Lois says, you know what? I will escort Martin out. Right? So Dante lets Lois take him out. And then Dante and Dante and Gio are going to leave. And that's when Tracy said, you know what, young man? She said something else to him. And he kind of looked like, wow. So now she goes, Alexis. Alexis goes, oh, no, it's my cue to leave. She goes, no, Alexis, I want you to stay. So Alexis is like, okay, what? And Tracy says, oh, that injunction, I want it to go through and you're going to push it hard. And Alexis is like, Tracy. She goes, no, it's exactly what you're going to do. And she goes, but you understand the risks you're taking. She goes, oh, no, I am going to have another surveyor survey the property. And that survey is going to come out exactly the way I want it to turn out. She goes, and let me tell you something else. We are going to buy up all the surrounding land next to this place. So watch Drew beat her to the punch. Watch. Even though Martin's not there when Tracy said that. But watch, Drew's gonna think of that. He's gonna have Martin. Drew, see, because all of a sudden Drew gonna have just tons and tons of money, right? Because that would cost a whole lot of money. But that would be the right thing. I mean, the logical thing is, like I said, buy the land. They don't have to buy it very much. So anyway, that's what happened there. Now we have Lulu. Lulu's meeting with Spinelli at Bobby's. They're catching up, and she's talking about she really needs him to do something for her, to help her efforts in finding Charlotte. And Spinelli's telling her, look, I have been scrubbing the internet. I have no footprint on Valentine. None. And she goes, I really believe Martin he's in contact with Valentine, and he has a way of contacting Valentine. And Spinelli's like, yeah, but I haven't been able to find a connection. She goes, you know what? They searched Valentine's house, the cops, and they didn't find anything. But see, I don't believe they know what they're looking for. I would know. How would she know, everybody? How would Lulu know what she's looking for? So she talks Spinelli into overriding the security system, and they both go over there and go in. She walks in the door, and Spinelli says, okay, we got to make it quick because I don't know how long I can keep, the system shut down. And so Lulu's like, just looking around. Spinelli's like, what's going on? And she goes, this was the last home that my daughter lived in. She did her homework here. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me, Lulu? Are you kidding me right now? I don't even know what her bedroom looks like back there. Oh my goodness. So Spinelli says a few words to her, and he goes, but Lulu, we have to start looking now, right? Post haste. Well, they hear Lucy Cole talking outside the door to someone. Sonny had contacted Lucy. I was hoping it would have been Carly, but he contacted Lucy and told her he needed a house and blah, gave her some specifications. And she goes, I have the perfect house for you. I'm thinking it's the house next to Carly. It's Valentine's house. Valentine's. Yeah, it was a nice house. Yes, it was a new house, but still, right? I was expecting something a little more higher class for Sonny, right? But okay. So anyway, he's in there, and Lulu and Spinelli are hiding behind the desk in that little office area there, right? And Sonny walks in and he's looking around. Lucy's telling him some finer things of the place. The front door is open. And he looks out on that patio area. He goes, how tall are those hedges? And they were like huge. And she goes, I haven't measured them, but that's one thing I will get done. She's putting it on her phone, measure hedges, right? He goes, I like the high walls. I like the high hedges. Okay. And Christina walks in. Dad, what I want to know is, how does she know exactly where they were going? Does she have fine, Google locations on Sonny's phone? Seriously. I can't believe, how do you feel about buying Valentine Cassadine's house? And Sonny looks at Lucy and says, you didn't tell me that. She goes, well, I wanted you to fall in love with the house first because it checks off all your boxes. And she's, pointing it up. And Sonny looks at the little office room and he goes, okay, what's this room? As he's headed towards it. And then Lucy's like, let me give you a tour of the house. And she's just saying some great things about the house. And Christina goes, you know what, Dad? Actually, the house is nice. And she has a lot of good points. And he looks at Christina and she goes, and I do believe, see, Avery, when she sees this, she's going to fall in love with it. It is no comparison to Ava's cracker box apartment. How would Christina know what Ava's apartment looks like? Unless she's been in other apartments in the same building and she knows the layout is pretty much the same. How would she know? So Lucy says, well, actually, Ava's apartment is very tastefully done. And she looks at Christina. She says, I'm just saying. And Christina looks at her, but she's like, I'm just saying. Right? Because Lucy sold Ava that place, you know? So anyway, she goes, now, Sonny, let's take a tour. He goes, okay, you come on, show me the rest of this place. So she takes Christina and Sonny. She goes, let's start this way, which gives Dante and Lulu, I'm not Dante, Spinelli and Lulu could have left. Spinelli wanted to leave, but Lulu's like, no, not yet, not yet. See? So they come out, and so Sonny likes the place. He goes, okay, you know what? I like the place. And he goes, but you said this is Valentine Cassadine's place. Nobody is supposed to be able to find him, locate him, get a hold of him. She says, well, his attorney, Martin Gray, is, handling the sale on Valentine's behalf. She says, so there has to be some kind of way Martin is communicating with Valentine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to list the house. And Lulu looks at Spinelli, and Spinelli looks at Lulu like, see, I knew it, right? So Sonny said, okay. And Lucy says, and by the way, Sonny, the sale is going to be legally binding. So even if Valentine comes back, because Sonny says, what if Valentine comes back and wants his house back? She goes, the sale would be legally binding and the deed would be in your name. So it wouldn't matter what Valentine wants when he comes back, if he ever comes back. So Sonny's like, okay, you know what? Write it up, right? And they go outside. Lucy's so happy, right? Oh, she's making all kind of money hand over fist. Windermere sold, Alexis's place, now Valentine's place. She just, whistling Dixie. So anyway, Lulu and Spinelli get up and he goes, can we go now? And she goes, see, my instincts were right. My Uncle Martin does know how to get in contact with Valentine. So they leave. And now watch, Spinelli's gonna tap Valentine's phone again, maybe. Not Valentine, Martin's. Because remember, he was looking into all Martin's records. So Spinelli will be back on the case. Period. So that was it, everybody. That was absolutely it. It was okay. It's gonna be good when Drew tries to blackmail Curtis. That's gonna be good. But my only thing is he gonna go to Curtis or is he gonna go to Portia? We shall see. Curtis, I would say, is not gonna be in control of Aurora. I'd say within the next month, he's gonna lose control. One thing about it, though, to me, Curtis was a little cocky. He was a little cocky. So, but we'll see how long it takes for him to be dethroned. So, comment corner, comment corner. And you know what? I think there was another thought that I had. Yeah. First, I thought, why doesn't Jason offer Sasha Sam's old penthouse? Because, see, realistically, although it should be an escrow, if she didn't have it in her will, because that place is paid for. If she didn't have a trust with it in there, then unfortunately the state would be taking it to probate. But I honestly feel it will revert back to Danny because she probably would have left it into Danny and Scout, left it to Danny and Scout. Um, we'll see because I still feel that will she had is an old will. And she would not have left it to Drew. Her and Drew been separated. So I think Sam would have protected the finances more for her kids more than that. So, and then you know what? Danny might feel a little certain way, even though he knows Sasha's not pregnant with Jason's baby, but he may not want anybody to live in his mother's penthouse. Yeah, leave that penthouse out of it. Now that I think about it. So let's go to comment corner, comment corner. We've got black, purple, turquoise. I'm going to read a paragraph of what you're saying. It says, more of the Christina Lulu incessant whining today. Ugh, I know what you mean. Especially Christina. I don't like Lulu, but honestly, if I had to choose between one of these two, I'll always pick her over Christina. Christina is just dangerously unhinged and flies off the handle way too easily. She's definitely going to try to do something to Ava, as she's still the only one on in this whole thing with a baby, and her accident and her accident of falling out the window and her dying. Quite understand that sentence. Um, which, as sad as it is, the only silver lining with this is we were spared having to see a stupid, outrageous custody battle between Molly and TJ and Christina over the baby. Yep, we sure were spared that. She has not since then stopped talking about it and continues to make that tragedy all about her. Yep, she's refusing to remember the way it really happened. Brenda says, who's writing these soap lines? Which way is GH writers going? Sasha and Michael should have used protection. Wouldn't have been a situation. Oh, I know. Black Purple Turquoise says, when in soaps have people ever used protections when doing the deed? That is so true. They just don't. If that is true, then Drew and Willow should be using condoms too. I don't hear anybody telling them, be safe about it. Don't get knocked up now, Willow. Though in her case, I hope she does get pregnant by Drew. When the truth drops uh about what a lying, deceitful, manipulative, stalking creep masked as a hero that she fell for. That is so true. And repeatedly had the nerve to let around her children that are also Michael's. And anyway, he and Sasha were drunk. So of course they weren't thinking about protection. Nonetheless, I'd rather see Sasha pregnant versus Willow pregnant ever again moving forward. And then Care Bear says, several babies in soaps were born from one night stands. And then Trying to Keep Up says they were both drunk that night, both in pain, like what happened back in the day with Jason and Liz. Oh yeah, that's right. Um, Even though they used protection. Did they use protection? The idea of sleeping with someone when you're mad is odd. I'd rather throw I'd rather throw hands. I know, hun, that's funny. Now we have, I'm going from the bottom up, y'all. Let's see right here. Care Bear says Christina's behavior will give Sonny a heart attack and Alexis a breakdown. Sarah says when then Christina will manage to make their pain all about her. Yep. Marie says, I've been saying she will be the reason why Sonny's illness comes out in front of people. And then Anita says, ditto. Trying to Keep Up says to Care Bear, I feel sorry for Kay. Guilt is oh, okay, you kind of B, da, 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 H, the last letter. It can follow you all of your life, especially if it's something you can't repair. She can't bring back her baby. So her way of transposing the guilt is to lay it on Ava. Ava is also an a behind. She forgot how she felt when her crazy stalker boyfriend killed her daughter. Don't like how they are writing either of these two characters. They should be able to console each other. Oh well, it's a soap. Yeah, well, I don't think Ava could ever console Christ. They could never because Christina still blames her for Morgan, which everybody should. Care Bear says Sidwell seems to believe in alternative truth. That is so true. And Lucy sees him in his wallet. P. Merrill says, notice Sidwell didn't deny anything Sasha Carly said. How many ways can you interpret being kidnapped at gunpoint? And Sarah says to P. Merle, 7-11. And then Care Bear says to P. Merle, a misunderstanding, right? I know, some misunderstanding. And then we have Care Bear says, it's true that Alexis is overprotective of Christina, perhaps because she almost lost her several times since birth. But that doesn't stop her from loving her other daughters. I also think Rick is protecting his childhood frustrations. He resents his mother choosing Sonny over him, and his jealousy of his brother continues because he thinks Alexis prefers Christina because she's Sonny's daughter. So he thinks that Alexis loves Sonny and not him. And here that seems to be what hurts him the most. Yeah. Rick is crazy. Aisha says it's a combination of baby hormones and her ongoing stubborn, foolish pride that has Sasha taking offense where none is intended and detecting detecting suspect motives where there are none. Complete self-sufficiency is an admirable goal, but she won't be achieving it with her current earnings and living situations. Like you pointed out, Daily Recap Lady, if Jason always got his way, Carly would always listen and follow his advice. And remember, one of the reasons why Sasha took the job as the quartermain cook is because it came with free board. Remember, she couldn't afford her apartment anymore. Okay, they're paying her that much, right? That she'd be able to get a place on her, her working at the Metro Court, she will definitely fare much better. All right, everybody, I'm at 8 minutes of Comment Corner. That you guys did a great job of Comment Corner. Love it a lot. I will be back tomorrow. Let me put this down. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.